all the way up here from Kimberly, Wisconsin. We're about, a half an hour southwest of Green Bay. Go Packers. And we're up here for a few days. We're going to be playing at a few museums starting here. We got up yesterday evening, and we were over at the, where were we just? Manitoba Museum this morning. We had some lunch, and now we're going to be looking at the gallery over this afternoon and all kinds of fun things planned. That was our State of Wisconsin official march on Wisconsin. A gentleman by the name of John Philip Sousa, one of our famous march riders, once commented that is the best college fight song he had ever heard. So that's high praise coming from John Philip Sousa. We're going to move on now to a set of American folk songs based on various rivers that were very important waterways in the lifeline of our growing nation way back when. You'll hear in this medley, Down by the River, the beautiful Shenandoah, and then the medley ends with the Glendy Birth. This is an arrangement of American river songs by another Wisconsin composer, Pierre LaPlante. Okay, here we go. piece written about the famous German fighter pilot from World War I, the Red Baron. It's very programmatic. I'm not going to explain a lot about it, other than the fact that, does anybody know here who was responsible for shooting down the Red Baron? What country that person was from?
Canada.
Canada. So we wanted to play something about Canada. This is one of the only things we had in our American files. So here is a piece by, who's this by? Eric Morales, called The Red Baron. You'll enjoy this. Lots of fun. Next, we're going to play a medley of American patriotic tunes that we had planned to play 2-3 months ago when we just knew we were going to be coming. So you'll hear some of our favorite American patriotic selections, including American the Beautiful, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, Yankee Doodle Dandy, The Battle Hymn of the Republic, and You're a Grand Old Flag. These are arranged by Carl Stroman. It's called American Celebration. Coming from the great state of Wisconsin, we wanted to close with something fairly indicative of what we're kind of famous for in the state. And Milwaukee always used to be known as the beer capital of the world. Milwaukee's about 2 hours south of us yet, but in addition to our love of beer in Wisconsin, well, who doesn't like it? Excuse me, kids. There was a lot of German and Bohemians who settled the state of Wisconsin, and they brought their music with them. And so polkas and waltz type music are very popular in the state of Wisconsin. They are still, especially with our older crowds, our grandparents and great-grandparents. So we thought it highly appropriate to play for you this afternoon the Beer Barrel Polka. is our high school song. It's based on the Notre Dame Victory March from great Notre Dame College down in Indiana. There we go. School song, everybody. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, sorry, we're not ready. 1, 2, ready, and...
You guys want to say hi to mom or dads or anything? We have a lot of people watching.
All right, get your music in your folders. And we'll try and collect those in some shape or form here.
Close up and everyone's different, not everyone's
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got lots of comments. We were up to 45.
All right, please listen. We're going to have to pack up. So everything will go